Boker Tov, Yom Tov, Zadim Tovim, and Laila Tov. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening. This is Carrie, and I'm going to be coming to you from the proof room today. I was looking at James 1:8 about, as you can see, who is divided in his mind and disturbed in all his ways. That was John Etheridge's translation, and King James, a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. And I wanted to bring this to you because there's some very, very interesting things that we need to see here. And this is in regards to the system of duality, in other words, eating from the tree of good and evil, and why we need to stand in the place of neutrality. Let's take a deeper look. What we are seeing here is it's speaking to us to who, what, and which, who divide, distribute, divide, or doubt. We're talking about things of the mind, the conscience, a fool, thought, idea, and conception. So this is definitely targeting the mind and not the heart. And look at this. Stir up and trouble. Stir up and trouble. All, every, whole, entirely, way, road, highway, and journeying. So this is more of a mechanical translation, and there are deeper words here, because in the mechanical translation, it is not giving you everything that you need to see in the verse. It is sliding it to one side or another. And we are going to take a much closer look at this verse. When I take a look at the language, I have said this many times for those of you who have listened to much of our work, the resolve is always found within the letters. Always, 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 always. So if you are looking in something that you're seeing from the surface level interpretation, if you want to figure out how to fix it, how to resolve the issue, and let the letters speak to you, because it will show you the way you need to go. The very first word here that we're looking at when it's saying who, which, and that, who's it speaking to? Now, when we take a look at this, within the middle of the two olives, and Aleph is a very significant letter. In fact, the entire message is contained within the Aleph. And it is a mystery letter. It means the mystery of many who are one. It's also a letter that means the first, the beginning, strong leader. It also contains the message of those who have been taught and those who teach, being yoked and tamed, their beast nature, that have the thousandfold measurement, the anointing of one, and that they have been given the staff of authority and the mouth to speak forth revelation in this day and time. So we have a representation of both mother and father here, because the Aleph is the beginning and the end, and the root word does not have this Aleph added to the suffix. So this is a huge note for us to see, that this is speaking to those who are becoming or are in the Christ anointing. And it's saying, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because I lose you guys. So just listen to the interpretation. So those who have become nothing, those who have become one, that have been given power on the inside, that were given the seed of life within, in their heart, the spark of life, are coming to you. And as we beseech thee. Okay, that's who this is talking about. We beseech thee. Nun Aleph, we beseech thee. Then we go into the word that has to do with divided. Divide, distribute, divide, doubt. So this word also has a meaning to separate and discriminate, cut into pieces, be half gone. So you can see that this word right here, to divide, distribute, divide, doubt, to separate and discriminate, we are already talking about the system of duality here, dividing, discriminating, and separating. So what we see morphing here is we have the dalet added on the front and we have the yod added in the middle. So the door into us resolving this issue about discriminations and separating, it is saying that Mother is going to show you the door. She's going to show you, she's going to begin to show you to go inwardly and see the areas that you have been disconnected with, the things that are causing you to be ill, weak, and feeble. And she is going to begin speaking to you this revelation in order to instruct your heart and give it power in order for you to gather all of the pieces while in the waters of chaos so that you can be instructed through both Mother and Father to lift you up out of your weak and feeble positions so that you can come to the completion in the resolve of why you have doubt and why you discriminate and why you separate. So remember, there's a call going out. I pray, we beseech thee, gather the pieces. Find the power within that will relieve you from and deliver you from discrimination, separation, division. Now we get into the word for mind. This one is chock full of information, you guys. Chock full of information. So let's dig a little bit deeper here. Hard to see if I can even do this word any justice because there's so much information in it. This word, in its root form, would be Resh Ein Aleph, but the Aleph is missing. The Aleph has actually been formed into the Yod, and Yod and Aleph are connected in one. The gematria of Aleph is 1, the gematria of Yod is 10, and through reduction math, 10, you would odd out the 0 and you would have a 1. And when you see the way that the Aleph has been constructed, you actually have an upper Yod and a lower Yod that are connected with the Vav in the middle. And so it's these two visions, the upper vision and a lower vision, that is connected to man within the heart of man that is going to be bringing forth power. So when we take a look at this, of what we're seeing here in the root of this, the Resh Ein Aleph, it means to tend, feed, and shepherd. Well, how isn't that interesting? It also means to reconcile and appease. And it still has additional meanings: think, suppose, reason, determine, consider, be mindful, and finally, to rule and govern. So what are we talking about here? The mind. All right, when we discuss this about the mind, and we're talking about ruling and governing, we are talking about headship of ourselves and what rules and governs us. And remember, this has to do with doubt. It has to do with discrimination, division, separation. It's a prayer. We beseech these, those who have become nothing, who have emptied everything out because they took the spiritual path and they were changed into new life. So this is speaking and declaring that you need to rule and govern your own mind by feeding it, by tending it, by being a good shepherd. You need to reconcile that which has been divided and separated and discriminating against. You need to be mindful and think about it and reason and decide. Now, you will be interested to know that this word right here, because again, there are words hidden within words, and the vibrational frequency of these words are in here. This is why every single word is written in shorthand. Every single word has like a paragraph of information, if not 2 or 3, dependent on those that what you are seeing and what you are excavating as it is speaking to you. Resh Ein is a word that means to break, bruise, and shatter. Now again, remember, this is connected to the mind, right? To break, bruise, and shatter. This is what we're thinking and considering and supposing. And when you take in consideration the Hebrew, because the Hebrew and Aramaic are not meant to be divided, they are meant to be unified into one. This is part of the problem with the system of duality, of having a division between the Hebrew and the Aramaic, the masculine and the feminine. They are meant to be unified. So when you take a look at this word with its Hebrew roots in it, this is a word that means bad, worthless, evil, and wicked, misfortune, calamity, and harm. So you can see that it's already connected to the Aramaic meaning as well. But would you be interested to know that this word also means friend, companion, associate, thought, purpose, and aim? You've heard Ken and I say adversarial friend. Your mind is your adversarial friend. And depending on what has happened to you, whether it's been shattered, bruised, or beaten, is going to determine that which you see. Ayin is the word that means to see. To see the landscape, it is the fountain within. It shapes everything that is projected outwardly and that which you focus on in the external world. We beseech thee, get the power within you so that you can figure out where you've separated yourself, where you have doubt, where you have discriminated against. Go within, seek within, build within. Take your mind, which has been your adversary, and make it your friend so that you can see that which has been hidden. That way you will know the purpose of the power that has been given to you to see on the spiritual path, the path that is the seed of life, that will give you a strong base to stand upon, that will shoot forth life, making you an heir to the throne by revealing to you that which is hidden so that you can see it. In other words, revealing your shadow within. So that was once an adversary can be your friend, because it all has to do with your mind. Now, this na is exactly the same as this. The aleph and the hey are both letters that are silent, and it has to do with the spirit breath. One is the exhale, the other is an inhale. But it is the spirit breath that is bringing this revelation to you. This is so that you can winnow yourself. And winnowing has to do with the barley bride, the first of the first fruits that listen to the Spirit, as the Spirit separated the chaff from them. And as they were winnowed, they became the pure and the innocent ones that fed upon a process and selected a process so that they could take their mind and make it a friend and a companion, instead of a tool used for evil and wickedness by separating and dividing and discriminating. And again, look at all of the things prior to this next word. Look at what this is saying here. Your mind, conscious, full, thought, idea, and conception. This all starts in the mind. Moving on. This is the word that I found most interesting. Stir up and trouble. Stir up and trouble. You see that? Stir up and trouble. Translated as disturbed and unstable. Through Janet McGear's work, this word also means, I'll just read what it says here, to stir up, excite, trouble, agitate, incite, distress, confuse, and ruffle. And a Hebrew idiom that has to do with a ship being tossed. A ship being tossed in the waters of chaos. Interesting, huh? So if it's connected to mind, what are we seeing here? What has been added is the vav and the yod. So this vav is connecting. It is connecting what? Well, it's connecting this mind and disturbed. It is connecting this, the word, to be troubled, agitated, to incite, distress, confuse, ruffle, trouble, stir up, to the mind. The resolve is connect to Mother in humility. Remember, we beseech thee. Connect, O man, to Mother. Because you've been stirred up. You are troubled. You are agitated. You've got two sheens right here. And the root is the gimel in the middle. Again, the resolve always comes from the letters. So if you are troubled, you are going to stir up trouble on the outside. And Mother is meant to remind you that you need to go through the consuming fire of both Mother and Father, both fires that deal with your external orientation and your internal orientation, to gather what you need to make yourself whole, to assemble yourself. The instruction that is needed, the deeper instruction that gives you power in your heart to resolve your agitation, because you're stirring up trouble in everything. And where is this? This is interesting. This is very interesting, because this is saying in all his ways, in all, in all. All is the word for bride. It is also a word for crown. In Hebrew, it's a word that means whole, complete. So this is speaking within. This is talking about within. So if you have issues, if you have doubt, if you have duality, if you separate and divide, if you discriminate, it is going to stir up trouble in you completely within. Everything is going to be disturbed. And this is speaking to the bride. I would say here, this is the queen that is speaking to the bride, so that she can receive her crown. The resolve is, go through your shadow work. What is revealed to you from the Father is going to give you power over your fallen flesh, so that you can raise that leg and have it be risen, and be part of those that are saying, I beseech thee, get rid of the system of duality, that which discriminates, that which divides and separates. And I understand that you have been bruised and shattered and broken, because that's what's broken your mind. But Father is revealing to you that which is troubling you, agitating you in all your ways, so that you can heal it, because He's giving you power to deal with your fallen flesh. Now I'm going to say one other thing here. It says in all His ways. This is the word that is the way. So when you have heard that Yeshua was teaching the way, well, that's this word, the way. And the first three letters are light, the way of light. So the resolve, as we are praying and we are beseeching thee to get rid of the system of duality, is to find the way of light that takes that which once was separated, fenced off, and bringing forth life through the covenant of completion that is being revealed to you. Because the glory is found in doing your shadow work. The glory is healing all of those things that broke you and bruised you, that were changing and making it difficult for that which you were seeing in the world, because you were looking externally when it was meant for you to look within the power found in your heart. And your heart does not see external narratives. It only feels. It only feels. And that which you feel in feeling, when you put an intent to it, creates your reality. This is saying rise above the division and the separation. Burn up what needs to be burned up. Gather the teachings, that which is necessary to empower your heart so that you can receive your crown, O bride, and become a queen, one that is completed. But you must walk in the path of light. Light has no discrimination. Light shines on the just and the unjust because it does not separate and divide. It is one. It is meant to expand your heart and to raise you up from your poor and destitute place so that you can find life and complete your journey through the revelation of that which was once hidden, and you will reveal to others whether or not you were on this path of unity or whether or not you were in the place of discrimination, of separation, as one who stirs up trouble. Find the inner journey, O bride. Find the revelation that will give you power to raise that fallen flesh nature into the path of light. This is Oreta. This is Oreta. Oh my gosh, I just saw that. This is Oreta. This is the celestial law that was in the beginning, that created life. Find Oreta within. The truth of life that can only be found within you. Your heart will let you know, and it does not see the external narratives that separate, divide, and discriminate in the system of duality. If you continue to stay within the system of duality, choosing a side, good or evil, you are one that is stirring up trouble, not only for yourself, but everyone else that is around you. And we beseech you, find the path of light, walk in the way, find life on the inside of you, because it was the light in the beginning that formed life. And it is the way that we are to go so that we can unify ourselves and walk in this revelation as no longer divided in our mind, but finding oneness and unity, which would mean you are no longer disturbed and you are no longer causing trouble because you're no longer taking a side. You've united everything within. You've completed it, been made whole, because you did your shadow work, which gave you the power in your fallen flesh, through the path, through the way. This is Shalom. Shalom, shalom, and namaste.